an intersection. Oh my gosh.
Did you get a call?
Yeah, I had to call. No one had called yet.
Oh, no one had called. Oh, God.
So I pulled up to the intersection and it just happened head
How long
on.
was this?
It was,
It's pretty much
Bellingham?
the business.
no, it was, what is it?
North Smithfield.
North Smithfield. Yeah, 146.
Yeah, I know.
You know where the Ace Hardware is?
Yep.
Right next to the Shell?
Yeah.
Where you could turn left?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That intersection.
Yeah.
A girl was
Street,
turning,
School Street.
Yep.
Yeah.
a girl was turning left onto School Street and a car was coming straight down Summer. And they head on.
Isn't that what School Street?
Isn't that?
That's over there in town, the fire station on the bottom of the hill, don't you?
Yeah.
Someone?
Yeah,
Yeah, they used to live there.
Yeah. that intersection right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's glorious, that's like Main Street,
Yep.
I'm telling you, same thing, they won't put a white there, but it needs something.
Well, there is a, oh, why is that doing that? That's weird.
Oh, a hat,
Uh-oh.
He wants
oh, just gonna go online.
everything else.
Well, we need Laura, right? Oh, there's Laura.
Laura's in
Laura's
here.
in. So,
For some
is this for
reason.
the public now? So we can't get, okay, well.
No, this is just like, I was just trying to get the camera working, that's all.
You got me, I guess.
There we go.
So he wants to keep one repeater.
All right, Laura, can you see us and hear us now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay. I'll send you the.
You ready in a minute or something?
No one.
I'm trying to think. Do I need to do anything else before we start? I don't think so.
So, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, being 7 o'clock, I'd like to open the meeting for the Bellingham Board of Health. 7 January 2025, myself in for the chair. Vice Chair Rick Gilberti, member Richard Martinelli, Health Agent Dylan Labonte, and Minutes Clerk Laura Noon. First order of business is minutes from December 17th.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from December 17th this time.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained, so carried, okay. Tobacco inspections update. So I believe we have, updates, Rob's not here, right?
No, I think he's zooming in.
Okay.
I am here. I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay, good. Okay, Rob, great.
I planned on attending in person this evening, but I'm still on call, so I figured it was easier to Zoom in case I do unfortunately have to go. But I'm planning on being at the meeting on the 21st in person.
Okay,
But as far as inspections are concerned, Dylan and I completed the inspections at the end of last quarter. We're still waiting on a few of the permits to be generated. I think that there's currently 3 or 4 that we're still waiting on. And after that, they can all be entered in. We had run into issues with Permit Eyes previously where when permits were in an in-between phase between the permit numbers being generated from the previous year, the inspections wouldn't save in. So I was just waiting for the permits to all be updated in order for us to input everything.
And I don't know where you were at, like numbers wise, but it slipped my mind to let you know, I issued like a ton of them today. And there was a few of them that you and I had talked about, one of them being, I know we mentioned Cumberland Farms.
I've seen both of those generated.
Yeah,
numbers.
both of those.
They did as well.
Yep, yeah, so I generated a ton today, so I admittedly, I spent most of my time on food establishment stuff. So, I can look back through and see who else we have, if anyone really, that hasn't renewed.
okay.
So.
Because
There
30
were-
day out and the fee is double. but-
What's up, Rob?
There were a couple of them that we ran into that had some kind of strange things happen. So one of them, I went in to do the inspection and they informed me that they had sold the week before. And I believe that gentleman actually came in and brought in all the paperwork to Dylan.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was AJ's.
AJ's, okay.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that I'm actively looking into that looks like they may have transferred ownership during the middle of last year because we have 2 permits listed for them. So I'm just waiting on clarification for that. Aside from that, I think that there was only 1 or 2 others that I'd seen. I know that Stop and Shop officially discontinued tobacco sales starting January 1st. So they're on my list to revisit just to make sure all the product has been removed. And as far as violations, the only things that were there were very minor. We had one instance at 19 Moody Street. I've always figured it's 19 or 21. But it is the smoke shop that is connected to Honeydew in the center of town.
Oh, that's 19 North Main.
Or, yeah, sorry, 19 North Main. Did I say Moody
The
Street?
the other one's Moody Street. I see where your head's at. You're good though.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now, is that a
so
food or tobacco?
that is a tobacco. So the only thing that they had there, again, is more of a violation just because of the way the regulations are written, where I know we've been over this before, because the way that the state defined vapes or ends products is anything that can be used to deliver nicotine or any other substance. There's a lot of places such as CBD Relief that I know is one of the things we've talked about in the past, where they're selling vapes that aren't necessarily nicotine or tobacco, but because they are vapes, they fall under the tobacco regulation, so they can't be flavored. So we did have one issue at that store where they had some items that, again, weren't nicotine and weren't tobacco, but they were vapes that were flavored, so they had to be removed from the shelf. Aside from that, the only other things we had were just minor signage violations. So I actually placed an order with the clearinghouse to have more signage sent to the office, so that we can distribute those, cigar and cigarette warnings.
The other thing, the one that transferred ownership, that the tobacco license was transferred with the.
You're talking about
Hilltop,
Hilltop?
yeah.
Yeah, that one's also.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, Rob and I both looked into that. They met the requirements that we needed.
Good. Okay,
So
so anything else, guys, for?
I think that's it for tobacco, right? You got anything else, Rob?
No, everything else was good. The compliance checks were all good. No failures. So I am hoping, I know Dylan and I had talked about it previously, that we can work on the kratom regulation before the next meeting. I know that Lowell recently passed something that was similar to what we were trying to do previously with some of the Delta 8 and kratom products. So I think it might potentially take up one of those, goal items. But just have to look into how they actually have it worded, and maybe we can submit it to council to review. I think Dylan started working on it, but I don't know how far into the process he got.
Yeah, I was basically like just kind of initially reviewing the Lowell regulation. I haven't gotten the chance to send it
Okay,
over to
fine.
council, so I can do that before the next
How many
meeting.
do we have though that actually have a regulation on more than synthetics, more than other natural products, but
What do you mean?
kratom specifically, if there's something that doesn't sneak into our reg because it's not, I don't know, synthetic or whatever.
Yeah.
In terms of like,
Well,
Yeah.
that's exactly why I want to review the verbiage,
fine.
because I don't know.
okay,
And that's legal counsel. They'll be able to help us through
Okay.
that, because maybe depending on how it's written, that kind of helps us navigate that issue that we were having with the other bill that you were trying to get passed.
right.
So yeah, I'd be more than happy to look into that though, so.
Another quick thing, I guess the FDA is, I don't know if it'll happen during Biden's last few days, but they're trying to ban, cigarettes in general that,
Oh, really?
have certain nicotine levels, they'll be banned. Now, the only thing they will allow is what the reg says, low level, they haven't defined it yet. Because they're just saying
Right.
all the tobaccos right now are considered moderate to high nicotine.
So we're gonna have to keep an eye out for that,
Yeah.
because when
That
does,
could pass as.
well, when does the
20th.
transfer? It's the
Yeah,
20th,
the
right?
20th, so
So,
today he did a whole bunch of things with.
so we have we have like 2 weeks, so we'll keep an eye out, so.
I
okay.
just know that they're trying to put it through, because it'll go to Congress and then him.
Yep.
They're not gonna do it as a, what do you call it?
Ex-
Executive order,
yeah,
because what the other guy's gonna do is come in and take the executive order away.
yes, so,
So if he puts it through Congress, that's the way it'll be.
It's not gonna go through Congress, it's gonna be a regulation.
Okay,
They're just gonna come out with the regulation saying that all tobacco that is medium or high
right.
is illegal.
oh,
That's what they're gonna try and come out with
So
in the
just
next
do-
13
just be
days.
the president or-
The FDA is gonna come out and say it. That's their regulation.
Okay, fine.
And it doesn't go in front of Congress
Okay, fine.
at this
Okay.
point.
So FDA has a lot of control, stuff like that, so,
I think we should also revisit the Brookline law.
Definitely, yeah,
That, and I think we should revisit that in this next month.
yeah.
okay.
That anybody that is over born after 2000
Right.
cannot buy any cigarettes.
I could just
Yeah,
do that as present both the council.
yeah, I think we should.
Yeah,
definitely.
please.
Of course.
Okay,
That has actually been presented in a couple different places. So I know Brookline is one of them, but I want to say that there was one as close as Hopkinton potentially that was in the talks about putting in that same regulation where anyone born after 2000 is not eligible to purchase. Similar to how a few years ago they had done it there was the weird overlap. Actually, it was my year that was affected, where there were people that were able to purchase cigarettes prior to the age change. So those people were grandfathered. But I could see it.
18 to 21.
right.
Yes.
But I believe, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, Cheryl Sabara is here, and I think we said we weren't gonna do that, we weren't gonna allow that, we call that overlap thing, we say it's 21,
Yeah.
so,
It-
nope.
It was prior to my time, so I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, we did adopt that as anybody, that was, 18, 19, and 20 was not grandfathered in Bellingham, that much, I know we did that in our law. Okay, great,
The only other items that came up, one was during an inspection. I know it's something that I've mentioned previously. There is no real benefit to it besides being able to sell the higher strength vapes, but there are a couple retailers that inquired again about potentially obtaining a adult only permit. So previously, that was a little bit more desirable, just because at one point it allowed them to sell flavors, but now that benefit is gone. So the only thing that they would be able to do here is they would be able to sell vapes up to 5% versus the 3% cap that they currently have. But there's a lot more restrictions that go in with that. They actually have to card every individual that walks in right at the door. They're not even allowed to enter the store unless you're over 21. There's a couple different retailers that have brought it up previously, but they had other aspects of their business that they couldn't give up. But someone mentioned it again, so I figured I would present it to the board. There was
do
something
they
else.
have a food license up, because if they have it at the door, someone's coming in.
Most of them don't, but,
Okay,
but yeah, well,
we'll have to figure that
We'll
out,
have to
'cause
figure it
it'll
out.
be confusing if someone's coming in to buy food, and, at the same time, they say, well, I wanna get, whatever.
no, definitely,
Yeah.
but, okay.
So, okay,
The only other item I had was actually something in regards to permit eyes. So I did send over Dylan a copy of like a sample inspection form that I didn't know if we could have uploaded to permit eyes and have that be our inspection form going forward, where it's kind of like a blank template similar to how they do food. But I don't know what the requirements are on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to work that out with permitize for this.
Yeah, Rob texted it to me before the meeting, so I didn't even get the chance
That's
to
fine,
like
that's
print
fine.
it out. But it's a pretty basic, straightforward checklist, so
Okay.
I can talk to Permitize. Well, what I can do is I'll print it out and present it to you guys first.
Right.
Have you approve of it,
Okay,
and then I'll
fine.
send it over to Permitize.
Okay, fine.
Sweet,
They should be able to do it, right, because if they can't
Should,
support our
so,
needs, then
yeah,
we have to go with the federal food code out.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're not gonna.
Yep.
All restaurants are not getting inspected
Yeah.
because,
well, yeah, to that point, the food code.
the food code.
Thanks, Rob. So,
Thank you.
oh, I don't.
Inspections update, I guess.
Well, food inspections updating food code were kind of the same thing,
Correct,
because it was
okay.
basically, I went ahead and, I pulled that section from the food code that I was referring to.
Okay,
And it says that, basically, except as specified, the regulatory authority shall inspect a food establishment at least once every 6 months, implying that the state is requiring an at minimum of 2.
correct, yes.
So,
So how would we do that? We're gonna-
I think that essentially, there's a handful of establishments and I
Oh,
think,
prepackaged, bro.
well, no, I was gonna say, there's a handful of food establishments that I think it might be beneficial because of just the pure fact that they're such a non-factor, that it's a waste of time to get out there 4 times. Like, for example, Cumberland Farms or Rusty Lantern, or, where it's a food establishment by technicality, but it's a small 20-minute inspection that they pass almost every single time. So if, like, I guess my suggestion, and again, I didn't have the opportunity to pull, all of the food permits to break it down that way. I wanted to at least provide you with the food code specific that backed up what I was saying first. I guess my suggestion would be, going through the businesses that we have, and presenting, certain businesses as staying at 4,
Right, okay.
supermarkets.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to.
And,
Full prep place. I
yeah,
would
like
not want
full
to
prep
drive them
places
down.
and stuff like that. But certain places like I said, the Cumberland Farms
Okay.
is the smaller joints that don't have as much going on, the Perfect Blend, the acai place across the street,
Right,
places that are like, the Perfect Blend is basically a smoothie bar. Their inspection takes all of 5 minutes and they don't even have anything refrigerated. They use ice in all of their drinks and powders. So it's like, why am I doing 4 inspections there?
yeah.
Like, so, yeah, I guess
Yeah,
that's the next step, but I just wanted to present you guys with the
Yeah,
language
group
first.
those, and then, like I said, give it, those that are like that, I would say, we do it every 6, that would, so.
Yeah,
Or twice a year.
Yeah.
But if they fail the thing, then.
correct, then we get on
back,
100%.
You know, at least for the year, and then.
I agree.
Put it back,
No, I
probation.
wholeheartedly agree,
Okay.
definitely, I think that's
What do you think?
that's the right way to go.
Right now, we're doing 4 inspections on every food prep.
Every food establishment.
Okay,
Yeah, that's great.
I'd like to make a motion that we drop it to 3.
Okay.
But keep everybody in the loop for 3. Even if it takes you 5 minutes,
Right.
I still think you should be at every one of those establishments.
I agree, that's why I was saying the most I
And by
want to drop.
dropping it to 2,
Okay.
I think you give them way too much time in between.
I agree with
Something
you.
goes bad, the public will
And,
find out. before we
and
find
they'll
out.
scream and holler that we broke it down as it is.
I agree with you.
So I'd like to make a motion that we make it 3 times a year for every business,
Go ahead.
with the
One thing-
exception of supermarkets.
The one that you just said, needed 4 times a year, full service, Chinese restaurant.
Yeah,
If it needed 4 times a year, why would I want to make it 3? I don't
Why?
understand for foods, yeah, you explain a little better for me, because I don't understand what the motion is.
so basically the reason why I'm suggesting this is because, in the inspections that I've been doing, even, to that point, using, say, Bamboo Express
Yeah.
as the perfect example. I understand that, and I can even attest to the fact that when I first came on, when it was the previous owners, they had a lot of work to be done.
Right.
And I've been on them. Rob can even attest to this, because Rob has attended, an inspection or 2 specifically over there. And when they switched to new ownership, I have since inspected them, I believe 3, if not 4 times since. And every single time, they have not only improved, but they've fixed the things that I've asked. There's never been a single repeat problem. If I come back, it's new. It's never the same thing that I caught them on last time. And so my reasoning behind it is that I've vocalized already that it's hard enough for me as an individual to make it out there to 4. So 3 is much more digestible for me, where we can still ensure that the public is being, taken care of, and that I'm still inspecting, but I can actually get to them all in a year.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Uh,
Opposed, thanks, okay. Okay,
The other thing I'd like to bring up is every meeting, is it possible for you to give us a list of the establishments you have inspected those 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that every meeting, we get a breakdown of the inspections establishments that have occurred in the 2 weeks prior or whenever the meeting is.
Inspection, yeah, like the
I'd
inspection.
like just to
report.
have a list.
Yep.
I went to this, and this. I think that we just need to start seeing what
Totally.
how many businesses are being inspected in a given period.
We're gonna get a second, okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, things are carried. Okay, so,
And before we get into anything else,
Yeah.
speaking of Permitize,
Yeah.
I got a login for Permitize. So
Yeah.
now I can go on
Yeah,
and look at it.
okay,
In Permitize, it gives us the codes for the type of business. Now, I assume tobacco is TOB.
yes.
Okay. Is there a breakdown of every one of those codes? I want to know what each one of them
Right.
stands for.
No, but I
because
can make one.
I can figure out most of them, but I can't figure out all of them.
Yeah, I don't know that one exists, but I can make one. I mean, I've gone through, cause that's what I did when I first started, when I logged in, and I'll even admit to you, there's a couple in there that we don't even use. They're just in there because Permitize put them in there.
okay.
Okay, so can we get a list from
Yeah.
Permitize
Yeah.
of what their codes are? That's what I'm looking for.
Now,
Yeah.
do we use them for food as well? Is that spelled out clearly while we're at it? Tobacco versus food, no.
Well, yeah.
Food the same way.
Well, it's still
there's
the
like-
federal food code.
Still
We're
federal,
just,
okay.
we're
There's
talking
like
about,
25 or 30 codes.
Okay, so Permitize brought the federal food code into it.
yes,
You're
he's talking,
yeah,
he's referring to the
tobacco.
abbreviation
Right,
of the permits, because there's a ton of different abbreviations.
Oh.
There's TOB, there's DSCP, there's DSI, there's this, there's that, there's this, there's
Yeah, I
that.
just like to
we
know
need
what
to
the
translate the
breakdown is.
acronyms, yes, absolutely.
So,
In Permitize, it's kind of hard to understand when it's just the name of a person
versus
without
a
a
business.
business listed as.
Right,
Yep.
right.
It gives me an address, it gives me a person's name, and it gives me that code, but it doesn't tell me what the business is.
Correct.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure when you start looking around, you'll even run into issues where you're like, this isn't an address in Bellingham. Because there are some that aren't,
Really?
because the disposal system installers,
Oh,
if
yeah.
they live out of
No,
town.
I
correct.
So, like,
understand
yeah,
that, but that's what I'm trying to figure out
Yeah.
in it.
Of course,
That's a good idea, yeah.
It's a little more complicated than just looking at it and going, oh yeah, I know what that is.
if I
Because
don't,
it says Walmart, you know,
if I don't get it, if I don't get it to you before the next meeting, I'll make sure it's in the meeting packet.
okay, thank you.
Of course.
Okay, okay, food inspector resume.
Yeah, Laura, I don't know if you want to speak a little bit to this, because Laura was the one who was kind of speaking with this woman.
Okay.
I don't know what ended up coming up of it, because she was like, oh, I work for DPH, this might be a conflict of interest, and then
Oh.
it sounded like she might have actually pulled out, but I'll give the floor to Laura.
Okay, Laura, go ahead.
That woman I did not even put in there because she decided not to do it, that it was a conflict with her other job. The resume that is in there, just for disclosure, that is my daughter, Jessica Mandilli. And I
Okay.
put Michelle's and my certificates in there. So those are like 3 extra people. I'm not sure how you wanted to manage that. Is it just the extra? Did you want to hire people? So that's kind of where we're at.
Well, I mean,
Go ahead, Dylan. You
uh,
Take care of that.
you know, I think personally, especially now that we knocked it down to 3, I mean, I think we should start with me and, you and Michelle.
Right.
And then if we get to a point where we think that we need to bring on Jessica, because like, say, I don't know, my other inspections are stacking up and
Right.
you guys also can't get out of the office and they still need to get done. Then we could present that to the board and revisit having Jessica on. I don't know if I want to give, because you guys literally just made a motion, I
Right.
want to try this first.
Correct, right, yeah, I think, yeah, it would probably be premature.
You know what I
Saying
mean?
4,
like-
3 is a big thing, we got 100.
Because that's already a big deal.
Right.
And I want to see if I want to see if that makes my life easier before I start saying that I need help again.
Okay,
So that's just how I feel
okay,
personally
so
about
we'll
it.
table the resume and,
So we'll
Yeah, Laura.
see how you do, Dylan, and then we'll take it from there.
Exactly.
Okay, sounds,
Okay, so, next business is old business. I will step out, I'll be in the office.
You have a key to the office?
Yeah.
I'd like to bring up the old business correspondence for Michael Marshad Environmental. Uh, Just in case, let me swear in everybody. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Let me bring it back to Mr. Martinelli. You asked for information to be sent in.
Yeah, Mr. Duffy did give me all the information that we asked for prior to the end of the year, which we asked for. That's the corrected quantities. And, in the correspondence, the original was all 9,000, as Michael explained. Mr. Marshall explained he was under the influence of drugs, as well as, I guess, chemicals or whatever, for your back. And when you guys wanted to have him produce these paperwork, and this is what he came up with. And then we asked him to basically get it back to under 10,000 gallons to show him where it went. And he did, and you got it down to roughly 9,000 gallons. I didn't add them up, I just did it in my head. And that satisfies me. What I'd like to do is I'd like to make a motion at this time that because of the sloppiness of it, we give Mr. Marshall a fine of $750. And at that point, it's over. You know, and that's, as far as I'm concerned, it'll be okay with me. And in the future, if something like this comes up, then we'll just take it to another level. But right now, this is, as far as I'm concerned, all I have to do. And I believe that's fair for me.
A motion has been made to fine Mr. Marshad $750 for sloppy paperwork. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. The vote carries. Your fine is $750. You have to pay that before your permit will be issued. You'll also have to pay the permit fees. I'd like to bring up something at that point. That's the end of this. But I also want to bring up, there's no gauge on your truck that quantifies how much you take out of each job. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. Is there a way to put a device onto the truck that would actually say how much you're taking out?
The only thing you could do is.
And I'm not asking just for you, I just want to be upfront about it. I'm thinking about making an order that puts it on every truck that does anything in Bellingham taking out.
Yeah, the problem you have with that is they're not accurate either, because you're dealing with sludge. It's not like water, so it would stick, toilet paper, residue, grease. Would stick on and you would it'd be worse than what we're getting now, you know what I'm saying? In other words, you got sight glasses, our sight glasses are set at. If you had a sight glass, the best way to do it would be to put a sight glass from the top of the tank to the bottom of the tank and then have a ruler. The only problem with that is if you don't put ball valves on each side and you backed up, hit a truck, you couldn't shut it would empty the truck right on the ground.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a ball valve on each side. That's one of the reasons why I've never done it, because if you back into a tree or even drive into a tree, a branch, something, you're in different places.
Okay.
That's the best stuff. That's the best way, to be honest with you. It is the best way. The only problem is if you break that cylinder,
You're screwed, basically.
you make sure you have a ball valve, but by the time you run out and jump out of the truck, if you're driving down the road and you didn't know, and something kicked up and broke it and is draining all over the street, now you create another problem.
Yeah.
So, but they're, as far as, I bought 3 tanks with meters on them. They have meters on them, but they'll never work. They use them in the oil fields for water, when they haul the water for fracking. So that's what those were made for, then, but they still can be used for vacuum, but the problem is that they're never gonna work, you're not gonna get an accurate reading ever. I mean,
I gotcha.
you know, they're useless, you know, it's gonna be
Okay.
all over the place. But if it was water,
Organize one
or
question.
oil,
Michael, your tank is a what? Your big tank is 8,000, 8,500, 9,000?
half the trailer is 7,500, about.
75, and
yeah.
your little truck's 15, 2,000
No, 5,000,
for
4,500,
a little truck?
yeah.
Oh.
Well, the little truck is,
I want like, let's say it came from my house to phone.
yeah, it's 4,500, I think it is, yeah.
So what do you do? like-
But that's not even accurate, because
Oh, it's 3 like
the
3 a
tank
day?
itself is, but if you have it on a hill,
Under the temperatures, I understand all
Yeah,
that.
if you have it on a hill-
Difference, then,
we have to, that's why it's nice if you have a body that dumps,
you know,
you can level it off, because the vacuum ball, if you're facing downhill, you know, the water levels this way, you got a whole space that's, it's just, you gotta really guess, I mean,
Yeah.
you really do, and then when, you know, we got the sight glasses, so they're set at, say they're set at I like to have them at every 1,000.
Yeah.
Because some houses, the old houses used to be 1,000 gallons, now they're 1,500, but I would put it at 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 500 increment.
Yeah.
But then you got a gauge between the two 500.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, to be honest with you, and I think, not to bring up the guy from Maine, but I think when he goes to the wastewater treatment plant, they have some kind of a gauge or something they can tell.
I think it's
Like
weight.
when you dump it or something?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, because
I would think it's by weight.
he didn't even have the right gallonage, he was playing with it, you know what I mean? As far as what the treatment plant told him, so. Cause he billed me for more than what he said the wastewater treatment, so there's variations all over the place.
I agree.
Not easy to put a finger on the, gallon.
I'm sorry?
It's not easy to put a finger on the gallon.
Now it's
No.
septic, it's tough because you get dirt, rocks, sludge.
I did vacuuming before, but not with silver, with oil, it's always just.
I've been doing this since I was 5 years old, so I
I'm
haven't
saying
seen it.
it's not a fun thing, and when you get questioned, it makes it even harder.
Yeah, well, if somebody doesn't really know, you gotta try to explain it to them the best you can without, how come they don't have a gauge? I mean, like I said, the easiest way is that long tube, but again, I don't trust it.
I have one on my trucks, I don't use them at all.
I just don't trust you, have that long cycle, it looks nice, I mean, but all of a sudden a rock kicks up or somebody, or some wise guy takes a baseball bat to, whatever.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're gonna spill,
Do you have any questions of the board?
Just the issue, that I raised about getting a copy of that certificate.
Was it not in the packet?
Is it?
Cause I thought I put it in the packet, cause worst case scenario, I can literally go into my office and print you one.
That'd be great.
Cause, yeah, here, I'll be back in like 5 minutes, okay?
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
You can tell.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
you to come back here too.
in because.
Yeah, we're all
We're
set.
done with this end of it.
Thank you, thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
You don't wanna come back.
I don't blame you.
Probably sitting outside where it's nice and warm.
Yeah.
I know when I'm going when I can get it, so it's all good.
I see him walking around his yard and he's like feet below zero, he's just walking around like it's, summer.
Been staying as long as I think, it'll be cold tonight, I'll get calls. Get up, dress up and go to work.
Yeah.
Keeps you going.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for all my life, and like I said, with my kids in the middle, it's just, he says, call me, I say, yeah, I'll call you, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm just something healthy as a dog, so I just go take care of business.
People need you.
Yeah.
It's cold parts of the year.
I feel bad for the homeless right now,
Yeah.
and the veterans and whatever's going on, it's just,
there's just not enough places anymore. And, see what happens after the 20th. Hopefully get some places that open up,
That'd be good.
it'll be really good.
I went by the Worcester Registry, the old registry,
Yeah.
on Main Street. They use it as a shelter and they got an outdoor portable shower. It's like people all over the place, it's like a
Oh,
zoo.
yeah, might be- Can you see sleeping out like this with a blanket or an old, whatever you can get?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I complain when it's 70 miles.
Yeah.
These people are out there now, and it's with the wind chill, it's below zero.
Like you warm the house?
I get pretty cold.
Yeah.
I'll go sleep in the car, turn.
I'm not being
it
cold.
down, Don't sweat. Sleep the window down just a little bit, so I don't. How about the heat? Not big.
My favorite seasons is the fall. It's just the best weather all year. Yeah, the last few falls, but actually better now.
Than before, I mean, it used to
We
be.
lost 2 months of our winter.
Yeah,
Last 5 years, we lost 2 months, we lost November, December, we have no winter.
yeah,
January, February, March, and after that, we're going, we get 3 solid months of cold.
yeah.
I mean, look at how long you're working. The septic system,
Well, I don't wanna pump.
I'm
up
just,
it.
I'm
I
just
don't even-
saying, you know, November, December, you can still put them in. Now
Yeah,
you gotta break frost.
Yeah.
You know, before, coming the end of October, all we were doing was pushing out oil.
yeah,
It's crazy. And now we get to almost January to enjoy life.
I know. I don't wanna do anything. Doesn't matter. Horrible. Oh, oh, yeah. It was horrible. So bad that I just told my guy, I can't do this, do this.
Yeah, it was cold for me
Nice
when
to
I
be
went
the
out.
boss
It
those days.
was really cold when I
Well,
went out to get lunch.
Oh,
Feel bad for me?
Yeah, you could probably call Uber Eats or something, right?
I don't understand it.
We do goals. We do goals. We do goals.
Oh, I can, but I don't think I'm close to it.
Works for me.
All right, I can bring up the plan review for 120 Grove Street.
Okay.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Move,
Go, go.
approved.
Yep.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Aye, it's carried. Thank you, gentlemen. Alrighty.
I don't know how to put that up, so it's on, yeah. I'll let them know that we just adjourned the meeting.
Oh, it's bad. Sorry. Okay, Bill, did we do 120?
I did it.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. We were waiting for you to come back. You didn't come back. so-
Well.
Those were you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah,
You have a card?
I meant to actually say for one
But
twenty.
I've got your email.
I don't know if you just approved it.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Beautiful, because I was gonna say,
Yeah.
the issue with them was that I caught that they were installing plastic chambers.
Right.
When I was reviewing the plan, I didn't see that they were specifically marked as the heavy duty version. So I halted them and I was like, hey, like, I don't, like, you need to do the heavy duty versions. Have a good night, Laura.
Have a good night. Yeah, kill
You
that.
also, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Put it on the next meeting too.
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Whether or not. I believe, and Dylan, you can go check the reg for sure.